Al, any chance this was an accident last night?
Possibly. Nice answer. Here you go. Good morning. Listen, my gut. Here, I'll paint the picture for you. You got a very good player in Acuna. He's wearing you out. He's got 3 home runs leading into that game. You go through your scouting report, and somewhere along the line, it's like, guys, you got to make him feel uncomfortable. Move his feet. The usual jargon that is obvious that here's a guy that's feeling very comfortable. I can't explain it any more than that, Dan. The whole premise of pitching is to make batters not comfortable, which means to offset their timing and their balance, and that's why you throw 95-mile-an-hour fastballs, and you come back with a 76-mile-an-hour curveball, and then you throw one upstairs, and then you throw a slider in the dirt. That's the premise of hitting and pitching, and that's baseball. So I don't think Jose Urena has the ability or command to be able to precisely throw a ball where he wants to. So the optics are awful. You throw the first pitch of the game, which is terrible, and you hit a guy that has been doing really well against you, and not only against you, but in the league. So it looks awful. I'm just speaking out loud as to what possibly could have gone in a pitcher's meeting prior to going into your first pitch or going and pitching the game. There's scout reports, go in, go out, he likes it down, he likes it up, hey, stay away from this, he can't hit the breaking ball, whatever. Perhaps, and I'm only saying perhaps because obviously we weren't in the room, that he said, hey, listen, just make him feel uncomfortable. Move his feet. Let him, knock him down, move him back. So that's where I'm not sure. Obviously we're not sure unless we know exactly what's in the mind of the pitcher, which every pitcher never admits to it anyway. So was that a bad answer?
No. But I'm not trying to understand it from a pitcher's perspective here, because let's say you hit him accidentally. Is there a way to say, I'm sorry, or my bad, or got away from me? Because if you look at Urena's reaction, he's waiting for somebody to come out to the mound. He throws his glove down. So it doesn't look like he's contrite, apologetic. It feels like there was a little bit more combative attitude.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's why I think, the assumption is what everybody felt. And it's an intense game, right? I mean, you have a 5.5-ounce baseball that's throwing 97 miles an hour, and it can actually really hurt people. So that's where I think this level of, everybody being angry about it on both sides. Yeah, it didn't look good, Dan. It didn't look good. Here's a guy in his last, just quickly, his last 7 starts. He's thrown 30 innings. He's walked 14 batters. That's almost 5 per 9. 5 every game, right? Mm-hmm. 4 plus. Yeah. So, he doesn't have command. He's hit, that was his 12th batter in 129 innings. I'm not making an excuse for the kid. It looks awful. It shouldn't have been done. I wasn't the best guy to be able to throw a ton of strikes, but I had the ability to command the pitch, and I knew kind of generally where I'm going. And the optics say awful, awful, awful. I never, ever did I hit a guy in the big leagues because he was wearing me out or my team. The only time that it was ever directed was usually a manager because I was protecting my players, and usually meant either if somebody came in hard at home or at second base to break up a double play, or if one of my guys were getting worn out during the series, you get the directive. And it's very simple. A lot of times, veteran pitchers understand and know what they have to do to defend their players, because the last thing you want in your clubhouse are players thinking that the pitchers don't protect you.
Yeah, I guess trying to understand this, and also, does this continue now? If you were pitching tonight for the Braves and you're facing the Marlins, would you have to be told anything? What would happen in the first inning?
Oh, no, I'm picking, I don't know, pick your guy in the lineup, and it would be first inning. So long as there weren't already warnings, I think Donnie knows. I think Tim Wallach knows. I think Juan Nieves knows. The coaching staff are there, Pags and all those guys. Those are veteran guys. Donnie's been around a long time. There's not going to be like, hey, what are they doing? There will be, if there's a warning issued, you don't want your pitcher to get thrown out because of it. But if there's not, I think there needs to be some retaliation because it looked very obvious.
But you're going to get the warning. You know that the umpire is going to say to you pregame, hey, Al, if you're going inside early, I'm going to run you.
Okay, well, then now that changes it because I don't want to get thrown out of the game in the first inning. I would probably pick my spot later in the game to make it seem not so obvious. But somewhere along the line, your guys have to know, Dan, that you can't be pincushions for opposing teams. That was the whole Tony La Russa thing. Get one of mine, I get two of yours. You hit my three-hitter, I hit your three-hitter. So, that's the way – listen, I mean, it's not that long ago. I mean, we know the stories of Don Drysdale and Bob Gibson. And, if guys just dug in, they would apologize to Bob Gibson and say, sorry, Mr. Gibson, I was just trying to get a better footing, and he'd knock you down. We're no longer, 60s, 70s baseball, but – something needs to be done just to say, hey, you can't get away with that.
Yeah, and once again, I'm watching the video. You just put your hand up to say my bad, and it feels like it diffuses it a little bit, and that's why I think there was more to it. He's thrown 97. He's not even close to the plate. And
well, look at the reaction of the catcher too, because there's a surprise element. In addition to what you just said, I agree, because I looked at the video and the replays. But watch the reaction. Normally there's kind of a catcher, like he kind of shies away from it. He jumps. Is that real, Muto? I should know that. It's just kind of, here comes the pitch, and if you look at it, he just kind of, there was very little reaction to him as well. I don't know. Yeah, the optics are not good if you're in the Marlin clubhouse.
We're talking to Al Leiter, former Major League Baseball pitcher and analyst for Major League Baseball Network. And I didn't understand this either, Al. Let's say somebody hits 2 home runs off of you. The next guy who comes up, who hasn't done anything to you, gets dusted, or you might hit him. So explain that one to me through the lens of a pitcher.
All right, so I've never done that. I always felt like I just either not good enough or I just were making bad pitches. The explanation is that you have personalities and people and humans that have emotions, and it's not justified. I've never done that. But you have a guy in the mound, he's pissed. I mean, there's no other way of saying it. And what's the way to vent it? I'm going to hit this guy. I'm going to throw at a guy. Not right. It's wrong. But listen, I'm on the mound. I feel like I'm getting worn out. I can't get you out. I'm mad, and I'm going to come inside. Yeah. It's kind of a big baby, actually.
Yeah, but a hitter's not allowed to do anything. Let's say you're striking out, 12, 14 guys. It's not like a hitter can go, you know what? I'm going to make you uncomfortable on the mound. I'm going to go out there with my bat. You can't do it.
Right. Who was the last guy who did that? No, we have to go back to Bert Campaneris, but was it somebody recently, right? So threw a bat. Was that Machado? Somebody threw a bat. I forget when.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Right. So I've seen that, where, listen, it's hard for me because I hit guys. I came in a lot. That was my MO to right-handed batters. So I don't know whether people just knew that was kind of how I threw. And I came in hard. I mean, I remember hitting Manny Ramirez on an 0-2 pitch in the helmet. The ball flew into the stands. This was at the Jake in Cleveland. Clearly not on purpose. I've hit a lot of guys. I hit Jim Rice on the kneecap. I thought he was going to come out and twist me like a pretzel and beat me up.
But did you ever apologize or put your hand up to say, hey, in the moment, just to say, sorry?
So here, I will tell you, Urania, I didn't like the body language. That did say like, oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So what? So there was a little tough guy element, which there's a whole bravado machismo thing to this anyway. Yeah, it's a fine line, Dan, because you don't want to do like what the Little League kid did. I thought it was cute as heck, but, the kid hits a home run, he high-fives him as he's going around the bases. Like, somewhere between that and, Urania, you kind of want to show, hey, man, I'm bad. I'm sorry. But most of the time it's futile because the hitter is pissed. He's mad that he got hit. Every hitter thinks every pitcher has unbelievable command and impeccable control. So every time they get hit, most of the guys think it's on purpose, which is not. So they're mad. So what are you going to do? You're going to wave at them, say, hey, my bad. I'm sorry. There's a little line there of you can look like you're upset without going overboard with, and then also without making it look like I did it on purpose.
Were you on the Mets staff when Piazza got hit with Clemens?
Yeah. Are you kidding? Yeah. So let's see. That was game. Well, no. It was during the Subway Series in the Yankee Stadium. I don't know who was pitching that game. And then the very
that was Sean. Was Sean Estes pitching then? Oh,
it was really unfair about Sean because yes, Thank you. It was really unfair. Sean came to the Mets like a couple years later. It really wasn't his fight. I really wish I was on the mound, or I think Rick Reed was still there. Somebody who was actually in the building during the World Series that needed to hit Roger. Roger knew he was going to get hit. And here's Sean, first year from San Francisco, and, he threw one behind him or whatever. He didn't hit him. No. And it really, Roger needed to get hit. That was 100% retaliation to our best player, Mike Piazza. You don't do that. And he got hit, and Mike's convinced 100% that was on purpose, not to be hit in the head, because of Mike was wearing him out. Mike had really good numbers against Roger.
Any other baseball storylines you want to touch on while I have you?
How about them Red Sox? Yankees got to get going here, Dan. I got I have the Marlins Yankee series with Michael Kay and Paul O'Neill coming up next week in Miami. So this will be good conversation with Paul O'Neill.
Also, the Dodgers without Kenley Jansen. I mean, I know they won last night, but man, they've fallen apart here with that bullpen.
I know, but I mean, I like Arizona. Colorado's right there with LA. I mean, what a disaster of a division. I mean, in the sense of really who's taken off, who's the one. Arizona's done a nice job where they 10, 11 games over 500, but you just look at the East and what the Red Sox are doing, and even Cleveland and Houston, American League, it's just so clear and distinct. Superior teams.
We've been talking about American League MVP. Foregone conclusion, somebody from the Red Sox is going to win. J.D. Martinez. I feel like Mookie Betts is more valuable. I think Martinez has had better numbers, but I don't know how the voters are going to see this. But it feels like it's a two-man race here?
Yes. I think without question. And what J.D. Martinez did, I think Betts gets it, but I think what Martinez – first of all, what a sign, right? I mean, what a story in baseball. The guy gets released, and he's a Division II player at Nova Southeastern, and Houston gets rid of him, and he turns his career around. And amazing what he did for Arizona last year, and Dave Dombrowski certainly knew what he had. And the talk with J.D. Martinez was his swing is that right center swing, that Miguel Cabrera kind of sitting watching him in batting practice. And, he's proven a lot of people wrong. It was like it's harder to go to right center. You're going to start pulling the ball. Impressive year that he's having. But I think overall, I agree with you. Defense, what Mookie Betts brings in all aspects of his game, I think he probably is maybe a little ahead. But I like the J.D. Martinez story. I really do.
And then in the National League, it feels like Scherzer is involved in the conversation just because we may not have that great everyday player. Carpenter's done well. Javi Baez from the Cubs. I don't know if you throw anybody else in there. But here was the one thing I wanted to ask you. I can give Scherzer the Cy Young. I have no problem with that. But if I'm going to include him in the MVP race, I got to hold him accountable for his team. If they don't make the playoffs, then how valuable is he? Because we've done that before where you'll say, well, hey, he got his team into the playoffs. Well, if he's not and Carpenter's not, then it might be Javi Baez who would be your MVP in the National League.
I agree. I mean, as you're saying it, maybe Freddie Freeman with, leading the league in hits or average. I'd have a tough time with that. By the way, don't sleep on Jacob deGrom. I mean, I know he's got, 7 wins or something crazy?
Yeah.
But, statistically, I love Scherzer. I just love everything about him. Also, too, that's been a disappointment for sure what the Nationals have done. But deGrom is going to be right there. I mean, that would be really interesting to see how that plays out with a guy, the wins are out the window, especially with, the voters of having a better analytic, sabermetric mind now. We saw that a few years ago when King Felix won with 13 wins.
I just don't know if Scherzer has kind of distinguished himself enough for being an MVP. Cy Young, obviously, and it'll probably, him and deGrom, maybe it's a close race, but Scherzer, you got to win 24, 25 games, it feels like. If you're going to have a pitcher in the MVP race, and Scherzer hasn't done that, even though you could say he's the best pitcher in baseball.
I'm with you. But I think what makes it interesting, and you're making a great point. If Scherzer, what's he have, 17 wins? I think he's up there.
I think he's got 15 or 16. He just lost one. They blew one the other night. The
but
bullpen.
The reason why what you're justifying is that who really is standing out offensively. I mean, we just mentioned Baez with the RBIs and Matt Carpenter, unbelievable. He's with 33 home runs, and then you throw in a Freddie Freeman, and there's really nobody that's glaringly standing out. So I think a guy like Scherzer, assuming he continues with the strikeouts and racks up the wins and stays there with DeGrom and ERA, he could be MVP.
Yeah,
and then he would be what 3-time Cy Young?
4 times, I think.
Oh, 4. That's right, 4. He's got 3.
Does that make him a Hall of Famer, Al?
I think so. So a while ago, I did a show at MLB Tonight there at the network, and we had a board, and it was there's 10 guys that have had 3 Cy Youngs, 7 of them in the Hall of Fame, and the 3 that are not are
Kershaw,
Kershaw, Scherzer, and Roger Clemens, and we know why Roger's not in. So that itself says a lot, right? I mean, the window of your 8 to 12 year dominance.
But a starting pitcher who doesn't get to 200 wins but would make the Hall of Fame is kind of interesting there.
I think it's changing. I mean, we see that with the metrics. You got Tampa Bay starting relievers because they want to get the 7th inning guy to get the first 3 batters. Are you kidding me? There's a reason why he's in the pen because he's not good enough to start. It drives me crazy. So wins are I mean, you're not going to see 300. No way. I think 225 is the new 300.
It's good to catch up with you.
Long enough.
I'm glad you're all fired up. Yeah, I'm glad you're fired up.
It's all good. A lot going on with you.
Yeah, but if you threw inside, I'm coming out.
You're coming out, and then you got one punch, and I'm bringing down. I'm bigger and fatter than you. I'll take you down.
I'm bringing the bat with me, Al.
Uh-oh, that's a problem.
You use the ball, I get to use the bat, Al. That's the way it works.
That'll hurt.
Thank you, bud. Good to talk to you.
All right, there.
That's Al Leiter, MLB Network analyst.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.